Hi, girls. What's the joke?
あなたはキレてですね。
Hi, girls. Oh, girl. あなたは綺麗ですね. Is she saying he has a beautiful hand? あなたは綺麗ですね. You are beautiful hand is あなたの手は綺麗ですね. あなたは綺麗ですね. Like, I think they'd want, I don't know if they're trying to say he's beautiful. If that's the case, then it'd be あなたは綺麗ですね. But then they have the te there. That means hand. But if you want to say your hand is beautiful, you gotta say あなたの手は綺麗ですね. あなたは綺麗ですね. Look at his face when he says, "Hi, girls."
If I wanted to be laughed at.
Oh, shoot. I gotta restore it. Hold on. I watched this game. I've watched this a billion times. Look at his face. Hi, girls.
Hi, girls.
And then look at the girls' mouths. Both mouths are exactly the same. They're exactly the same mouths. They're just mirror images. Look where they laugh.
あなたはキレてですね。
Oh God! I watched that freaking scenario so many times. It's so funny. Oh, I can't even imitate that laugh. It's so amazing. Oh, beautiful stuff. My goodness, I love that they have those two Japanese girls there. It's just, to me, it's so interesting that Japanese culture is prominent enough in Paris that they merit, a debut in this game. And the way it's depicted is so accurate because, and it just shows Japanese culture because I've never been to Paris, so I don't know what Japanese are like in Paris, but they are exactly like this everywhere else I've ever seen them in the world. They're like this in Korea, which has a culture that's very close to Japanese, but still, it's two Japanese girls that are just by themselves. They travel around the whole country seeing stuff like this. They follow a guidebook like anyone else, but they always travel in pairs. Very seldom do you see a solo, but then you sometimes do. You see a solo Japanese person, and they always have a very I can do this, fuck off, I know my shit type of personality. It's so interesting. The girls that travels in pairs, they're very open, giddy, funny, they laugh, exactly how they're personified here. And then the Japanese people that travel solo, they're set in what they're going to do, and they don't really accept help from other people. And if they do, it's just a courtesy. It's not something that they actually want to do. And you can totally tell in the tone of voice that they just want you to fuck off, basically. And it's amazing that they included them in this game. It's just so funny. And that face he makes. Hey, girls. It's so silly.
Hi, girls. Hi, girls. Hi, girls. Hi, girls. Hi, girls.
So I've been sending out a lot of messages to various forums about what type of what makes point and click adventure games this type of game, what makes them fun, and it almost always comes back to me that, especially when the game Monkey Island is referenced, it almost always comes back to me that games that have absurdities and just outlandish scenarios are really popular, and people really enjoy that. But it's weird that they've almost become synonymous with point-and-click adventure games. Well, that's just like one characteristic. But I'm wondering if that's just the way it is, and people are just expecting it because of the. I mean, they are slow moving. They're not fast paced, and they're not action in any way. And so it's a really slow moving, story driven, contemplative type of game. And so with the occasional.
Would you give me your opinion on this pot, sir?
Yes. Very rapouche.
Rapouche?
Hideous.
Like that.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
He just smashed my pot. Now that's not crazy absurd, but it's you're not expecting it because this pot is something really important and it's something that I have, and it might have been a clue to some type of lead, and he just smashed it.
You smashed my pot.
Certainly, it was not only worthless, it was ugly and offensive.
To you, maybe.
Believe me, I was doing you a favor.
I wasn't going to waste any more breath talking to that pompous blimp. Maybe I could turn the situation to my advantage, and at the same time, get my revenge.
And there we have that last remark by the main character. You know something crazy is going to go down when that revenge happens, and you'll be seeing it. But I'm just interesting. So if I wanted to make a game that would be popular, a point and click game that would be popular, then it would be very wise to have within it very absurd, outlandish, unexpected, crazy scenarios, almost like a comic book. Here I want to show you. In the previous video, I talked about item management with the progression of the storyline. So how items are used or implemented to progress or give hints towards the progression of a storyline. And so, okay, you see me with, I have right there a red pot. Now this red pot is the lead that brought me to this museum. I was told that this red pot, I could get more information on the origins of this red pot if I bring it to this museum and show it to this character here, which is what I'm going to do.
I'd like your opinion on this pot.
Interesting. Would Sir be interested in selling the article?
That depends. How much would you give me for it?
300? Possible 325?
I'll think about it.
And that's the end of the pot. I have no other options to do with the pot. See? Now if you remember, just minutes ago, that fat guy in the background threw my pot down and smashed it on the ground. See, that's what's actually supposed to happen. The only way the storyline is going to progress is that happening. So the game communicates this to me by first not having me, but just, for example, if I show it to this guy first, he's just going to say, I want to buy it off you, and then this guy goes, I don't know, and he puts it away, and it's done. And you're like, what the heck? What's the point then, right? It almost seems like a dead end. And it's just the game communicating to you that that is not what you're supposed to do with the pot. You're supposed to do something else. And then eventually you show it to this guy, he smashes on the ground, and then that is a segue into the progression of the storyline, which I will show you later. But right now I just wanted to show you how the game manages item management with the progression of the storyline. And this is how you turn the tides and get your revenge on this dude. You fill his glass with this absinthe I picked up from the cop out by the cafe.
I splashed a little absinthe into the glass and hoped he wouldn't notice the change of color.
Did you put something in my drink?
Yeah, I did. Well, what do you think?
Well, it's certainly an improvement over Gleese's wine. In fact, I could grow to like it.
I admire this character's honesty, and it just takes one more shot, and then you'll see how my revenge is enacted.
Allow me.
Ah, that's funny. Oh, that's really funny. It's like, my God, my life! So, this demonstrates 2 points that I think are going to be the main themes of my entire adventure with this game, which is 1, the item management concept, and 2, adventure games needing some type of absurd, unexpected surprise to keep gamers engaged. So, as you noticed, the item brought me here because I wanted to be analyzed by the dude and by Mr. Gleason in the mustard poopy color, in this colored blazer. So I had him analyze it, but he didn't care. And so what the heck am I supposed to do? When I really just, the whole point of the item was, the whole way of getting the item, the whole way that item was going to help the story progress was by having this guy, the fat dude, analyze it, break it in front of me. I get a little angry, pour absinthe in his cup. That causes him to fall over with the absurd scene of breaking an entire case. The engagement. I get more engaged now. And the story continues. So there is this intricate relationship between managing items and how they develop the story, and having the story contain occasional crazy unforeseen events that engage the player. All because these types of games are inherently slow and thoughtful. You have to think a lot, and you spend a lot of time figuring puzzles. And so if you have too much of that, then the gamer's going to possibly slowly become less and less engaged, and so you occasionally have this fun thing. You're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what the next crazy event is. But then the item part is just to keep the game flowing well and keep the story interesting. And it also, I think the item thing allows for puzzles to occur. Because if I had brought the pot in, had the poop-colored blazer guy analyze it, and then that was segue into the next part of the storyline, then there'd be no need for a puzzle. But to have this kind of dissonance where you think you're supposed to just have the item here, but actually you need to have the fat guy do it, figuring that out allows for game designers to throw in some puzzles. So they could have even had an even more crazy puzzle, like this fat guy could have said, like, hey, I will only analyze your item if you solve me this riddle, and he says this riddle, and then you have to solve the riddle, but just allowing this disaccord with how the items are managed, that gives game designers an opportunity to throw in a puzzle, which also engages gamers too. This is really interesting. I'm just discovering this right now, so if it doesn't make sense as I explain this, because I'm still figuring it out myself.